everybody. This is Sheldon again with my VMware studies. And what I wanted to do today is take you guys through a basic step dealing with VMware and vSphere. So VMware is the company that provides the software for virtualization and many other products. And vSphere is the suite that is composed of Esxi, which is the hypervisor, and vCenter server. Okay. And so what the hypervisor is, that is what allows you to do virtualization with VMware, meaning that you use the hypervisor to extract all of the resources from a host, which is a physical server in this case. And then all of the resources that are extracted are able to be allocated to other virtual machines, okay? And so what the hypervisor is with VMware, it is a type 1 bare metal hypervisor. And what bare metal means is that you're able to install Esxi onto the physical server, okay? And then that is what decouples all of the hardware from the machine for you to allocate. So what I wanted to do today was to do a basic installation of Esxi. So let's go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual machine. Okay, so we'll start here. We'll go new virtual machine. And this is at the data center level. And what I am doing is called, we will be creating a nested hypervisor or Esxi host server, okay? So we'll go new virtual machine and we'll call this host 04 because I have 3 already, okay? And we will keep that there, okay? And yeah, we're going to put it in the quantum data center. Okay, so this would be, like I said, when you walk into a physical data center, this is what you would see, a physical host. Okay, and so we're going to put it on this storage drive. So this is the data center host with the storage. You can see I have 1.3 terabytes. I have 779 free. And it is using VMFS6 as virtual machine file storage for the actual machine that we are building. Okay. And it'll be compatible with Esxi 6, 7, and later. And we're going to say for the guest operating system, other. And then we're going to choose VMware Esxi 6.5 or later, and it says this operating system is not supported. See description of unsupported at this link. So what that means is that this is what's called a nested environment, meaning that I will create another VMware server, an Esxi server, inside of vCenter, completely virtualized. So that means that it's virtual on top of virtual, but VMware will not support this product if I need any assistance because that is not best practices. But no worries. We're going to do it anyway. This is strictly for your home labs. What we'll do is we will give this, we'll just give it 16 CPUs. We'll give it 4 sockets. We will expose hardware assisted virtualization to the guests. So meaning we want this machine to be able to do virtualization, meaning creating other servers on its Esxi system. Okay, we'll enable this. We'll give it. Let's go for 8 gigs of memory. That should be fine. And then we'll give it 40 gigs of hard drive space. That's what it's recommending. And then we will make it thin. And that means it won't use all the space at once. We'll talk about that later. But thin is a good way to be conservative with your storage resources. And then what we'll do is we will go and we will connect the ISO file to this machine for it to install. Okay, and so we will go here. And this is going to be Esxi 7.0. That's the hypervisor that we're going to use, okay? And then we will connect at boot. And we will go, oh, let's go back. We will go here to the VM options. And this may look confusing to you, but it's really not once you do it a bunch of times. You'll understand. I want to synchronize the time with the host. VMware tools, you won't need that for the Esxi installation because it's never going to use it, okay? And we will go with the recommended EFI boot up, okay? And we'll force it into the EFI setup screen on the next boot. We'll go next, and then we'll finish. So what's happening is creating the machine right now. See where it says created virtual machine, and then we'll go to the quantum data center. And there's the machine. It's powered off. So what we're going to do is we are going to power it on right now. And there it is. And let's go here. We're going to launch a web console, meaning we will actually be able to see this is actually the BIOS of this machine. So we'll say enter. And now it is installing the Esxi onto that virtual machine that we will treat like it's a physical machine and extract all of the resources from it. Oh, and I made a mistake. I meant to give it 128 gigs of RAM so I can go back and change that. And so that way we will be able to add other virtual machines to this machine and have plenty of RAM to distribute when we do that. And it is loading up the modules right now, getting ready for the installation of Esxi. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You got to do it a couple times. And basically, you got to persistently keep working with VMware every day to really understand what's going on. And once you get that aha moment and it clicks, then you will find out how powerful and how fun this software is to work with. So basically, what you're seeing is me building a server or a host that would be physical in a working environment, but we're going to make it virtual for the purposes of our home training or your home lab. And it's almost done. And so I can talk about this. So if you guys are interested in becoming a VMware certified professional, you would have to take the class first, and then you would take an open book test to get your VCA, your VMware Certified Associate certification. And then what you could do after that is take your VCP, which qualifies you to be a data center engineer and administrator. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's not an easy path. I'll be honest. It is not something that you can do overnight. But if you stay with it, it will be extremely rewarding to you and in your life. And plus, you'll have a whole lot of fun doing it. I promise. Like, I feel like I'm playing an analytical video game. So, yeah, you guys just think about that. And let's install this hypervisor. And it's almost done loading. Oh, and another thing you guys should do is get a great server that you can work with at home. So you can use VMware Workstation, but you would essentially be installing Workstation on top of a operating system like Windows. And that's fine, but I wanted a real world experience. So I actually got a full blown server with 1.5 terabytes of storage on it, 16 CPUs, and it was 128 gigs of RAM. I upgraded it to 192 gigs of RAM. And it's just like I'm in the office. It's just like I'm at work, and there is no difference. So I would recommend you guys getting yourself a server for home, and we could talk about that more. And so we're ready for the installation. So here we go. We're going to click enter. We're going to click F11 to accept the license. And now it's going to tell us where to go. So it wants us to install Esxi on this physical server or in this storage space right here, this 40 gigabytes of RAM. So we'll hit enter. We'll go US default. You got to give it a password. And we will hit enter, and to begin to install F11. And now it is installing Esxi. And so once this is completed, it's going to reboot, and then you will see what it looks like. And I'm going to actually add the RAM to it to make it 128 gigabytes of RAM. But so this is pretty much the foundation of virtualization, is you have to install the hypervisor on bare metal, meaning a server that has no other operating system on it. You install this on it, and then this will give you the ability for you to allocate the resources of this host or the server. Okay? And there's one more step that I'm going to have to do that you normally would not have to do. But like I said, this is a nested environment. So then I have to actually bring this server into the vCenter server software like it is a host in the real world. So there's one more step to doing that. It's really, really simple. And then it'll be ready to go. So let's let this continue to install. Yeah, VMware, I at first when I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is complicated. This is so hard. Okay, it wants me to reboot. Oh, this is difficult. But the more and more I studied it and worked with it every day, I have actually grown to love VMware. Like the fact that this came out of the mind of a human being or human beings is fascinating within itself. So I would recommend it. There's so many different ways you can go in the tech space. If you like virtualization or if you want to know about it, I think this is a really, really good place for you to start. Okay. And I'll also leave a recommendation to where for where you can get your servers. Well, I'll tell you now, if you want to get a home server, I used a guy out of New York, a company called TechMike NY, TechMikeny. And I paid about $750 for my, it's a refurbished server. It is a Dell PowerEdge 720. And you know what? Actually, this is my second server. I had an HP 380 ProLiant DL. And that one was having issues. So then I bought this one. And this is like a Ferrari. I love my new server. I guess I'm officially a geek now because I'm talking about loving my server. But I would recommend TechMike NY, and you can go to his website. I think it's techmikeny.com. And what I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description. And tell him Sheldon sent you. Maybe he'll give you a discount. I don't know. But I know for a fact he creates servers specifically for Esxi to be loaded on, for you to use the VMware vSphere suite. So He's a good guy. Any questions I have, he always answers. And if I need extra parts, he discounts them. So yeah, he's a good guy. Anyway, so here is the server. It's up now, or the host. And so if you look right here, you'll see it assigned it to 192.168.0.40. That is the IP address. Okay. So let's go here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the memory on this. Let's see if we can do it while it's hot. So this would be called a hot add. So I'm going to go into the settings of this computer or this host. And it won't let me do it hot, so I'll have to turn it off. So let's cancel that. And we'll go here. We'll go to power off. Okay. So now that it's off, we'll go back, edit. And so right here, I mistakenly put 8 gigs of RAM, not thinking. So what we want to do is upgrade this to 128 gigs of RAM. And this was cool about virtualization. You don't have to pop open the hood of the server. You can just add it right there in the edit settings. I'm going to put 128 gigs of RAM right there. Okay. Oh, and I'm also going to add another network adapter while I'm here. And this is going to be for redundancy. We'll talk about that later. Let's see, network adapter. And that looks good. We'll disconnect the ISO. An ISO file is a file that acts like a CD-ROM. So once you tell the machine to connect, when you reboot the machine or power it on, it'll run the software that you've put on that's on the ISO file, just like a CD. So okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn this back on. We powered the machine back on, and voila, it's booting up. So I'll tell you what, we'll let this boot up. And then what I will do is I will, after I let you guys see it boot up, then I will do another video on configuring or actually bringing this host like it would be in the real world into vCenter, and then going to the actual host client and configuring that. Okay, and I know it probably sounds like mumbo jumbo now, but you guys will understand once I do it. So let's just take a look and see where we're at here. It's booting up. And it's almost done. And voila, there it is. So, well, you know what, while I'm here, let me just bring it in, and then I'll do the next video on configuring it. So what you have to do first before you bring it into vCenter is you have to make a DNS record of it. And what DNS does, it provides forward and reverse lookups for the IP address. So it translates an IP address into a fully qualified domain name, or the reverse, a fully qualified domain name into an IP address. Okay? And so that is going to be vital when you want to do administration on a machine like this and have it inside of Active Directory. So I'm going to create the record right here. This is going to be host 04. Okay, and the IP address is 192.168.0.40. Okay, and it's going to create the pointer record that's going to be in the reverse lookup zone. Okay, and then I'll allow any authenticated users to update the DNS record with the same owner name. So, okay, there we go. The record has been added. So now, Once we have that, we'll come right here to the data center, and then we're going to click on Add Host. Oh, you know what? We want to do it up here at the data center level. So we're going to click on Add Host, and we're going to go host 04 dot. So here's the domain, quantum.leap. That is the domain that we're using. You can see it on the other host machines right here, right? And then we're going to give it the root username and the password. And voila. When you see this right here, that means it's successfully going to join vCenter server because it's pulling it from Active Directory, okay? From the DNS. Okay. And voila, here we go. So if you look down here at the bottom, we're going to click finish. It should be pulling it in right now, and there it is. It's coming up. And it is processing the data right there, you see. And there it is. And let me add this into the cluster. Okay. And so there it is. So we have a host added to our cluster. And we'll get into clustering and all that stuff later, but for right now, I wanted you guys to just see how I built this virtual host that is nested. So I had to build it here as a VM, host 04, and then bring it into the data center as a host that we can use to extract the resources from. Okay. And so now it's setting up the high availability on the host. We'll get into that later. But for now, I just wanted you to see that. Watch the video a couple times. Like I said, get a server that you can practice on. And if you really are into VMware, I think, or if you get into it, I think you really, really will enjoy it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. And the next one I will make on how to configure the host client of this machine. And I'll explain what that is shortly. All right, you guys have a good day. Take it easy. Bye-bye.